What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Surfside PPC YouTube channel. Today, I want to go over Google Ads branded search campaigns. So this is something I get a lot of questions about, and it's one of those where there's not really one right answer for how to do it because there's a bunch of different approaches depending on your brand, how many searches you get, how much competition you get, and your brand name. So I want to really start with some different examples of reasons when I'm like, yes, you should be definitely doing branded search campaigns. And sometimes where I'm like, you really don't need to be doing branded search campaigns based on your brand itself and based on your market. There is no one right answer, truthfully. And I will say for brand new accounts, I know I'm using the word brand separately there, but for new accounts, a lot of times I do like to actually use branded search campaigns just because they are going to give you conversion data. And while it might throw Google off a little bit to say, okay, we want to just keep going after their brand name, this is where it makes sense to say, okay, let's create along with our initial campaign that we've launched, the campaign where we're going after keywords that have nothing to do with our brand, but are just about our services. So, in the example here where I have a dental company, Prince Creek Dental, instead of targeting Prince Creek Dental, we're targeting dental care near me, dentist near me, best dentist near me, dental clinic near me, dental implants near me, depending on the types of services you offer. You can see dental cleanings, emergency dentist. So the types of keywords that you're going to target that have nothing to do with your brand. So what I like to do is when I'm launching is start with one of each campaign, basically because what the brand campaign is going to do and help you do quicker is get conversion data into your account. So into your goals section here, conversions. So you'll start to actually get conversions coming in. And it makes it much easier for the other campaign as you start putting conversion data into Google Ads. This is just what I have found, from running campaigns for a while. It does make it easier to get your other keywords on track as well. And that whole process, to get from the point of, okay, we just launched a campaign to, okay, we're using maximize conversions or target CPA, and we're seeing more consistent results than we were, the first month or the first couple weeks that we launched our campaign. So that's kind of one of the main reasons I do like to launch branded search campaigns. Now, one of the best things I could show you is an example of how ads can potentially show depending on what people are searching. So if we come over here and I'm just looking at my own brand name. Now, mind you, I am signed in as Surfside PPC. Google knows it's me searching my brand name. So I search Surfside PPC and we already get an advertisement here at the top. Potential that we have an advertisement at the bottom. Nope, no advertisement at the bottom. The rest are basically all my things: LinkedIn, Facebook, my website, pages on my website. And you could see here kind of YouTube outranks my own website, which is kind of funny. But basically, if you do it just a little bit different, and one of the first long tail keywords that people search related to my brand is Google Ads. So Surfside PPC Google Ads. So somebody could potentially be searching that who wants to hire me to manage their Google Ads. So what we're going to see here is if I type in that, we actually get 3 advertisements before my URL comes up as an organic listing. I am not running any advertisements. I really don't run advertisements for my own brand. And you'll see here that we have a huge advertisement at the top by Jumpfly. I know they spend a ton of money on ads. They also charge a lot. So we have Jumpfly, Fluency, Ad Taxi, 3 different advertisements because we have Google Ads in here. Now, if I'm targeting Surfside PPC Google Ads, the clicks for me are going to be a lot cheaper because it's my brand name. Jumpfly is going to have to spend a lot of money on this click, whereas if I were bidding on my own keyword, the cost per click is going to be so small, maybe $1 or $2 usually. Maybe Surfside PPC Google Ads Management or Google Ads Agency might be more expensive, but I should have the highest quality score for this keyword, and Google should look at it like this is a brand keyword for Surfside PPC, so therefore creating a brand campaign, it's not going to really increase your costs to the point of taking up a lot of your budget. It's really going to say, okay, we could spend a couple $100s on branded keywords per month, depending on, your overall brand name. If you have a very popular brand, it might end up being more, but we know for a fact that that $200 is turning into a lot of business. So you look at it almost as an investment of, we are getting more conversion data in our Google Ads account. We're not potentially losing out on customers to our competitors, where somebody might go into one of these other competitors and say, really quickly, if you want to join a community of other people that talk about ads, then join the Surfside PPC ads community. Go to surfsideppc.com/community or school.com/surfsideppc, and you'll be able to join my community there. If you are interested in my Google Ads course, you can go to surfsideppc.com/course. It's $34.99. You will learn everything you need to know about managing Google Ads and making it successful for you. Last but not least, go to surfsideppc.com/consulting. I do consulting and audits in case you need help with an existing account. Let's get back to the video. Maybe I will hire, one of these other agencies or talk to them first and kind of increase. Not that I think that happens all that often if people are specifically looking for it, but it is just something to always keep in mind. So a few more examples that we have here. So if you search something like dentist, Nashville, Tennessee, so you can see we have these different dentists here. And then I found one down here. I think it was, Gulch Dental Studio. So high rankings. So great job on the SEO. So if you do a search for Gulch Dental, you get this entire. So for them, it's like, okay, do we really need to run ads around our brand? Because if somebody's searching Gulch Dental, very obvious what they're looking for. Unlikely that there's going to be a lot of ads showing for it. So it's one of those things where in this case, I go back and forth depending on what the client wants, depending on the results that I'm seeing from the other campaign. If we have a campaign that's working great, I have no reason to really run branded keywords for a brand like this. And it would be something where let's just exclude the word Gulch altogether. We will let our organic listings do the work. We already know that they're ranking really high in the search results. I would imagine their map listing probably ranks decently depending on where people are searching from. So overall, this is an example of a time where I might say, maybe you really don't need to do this. Same thing, I just did one with Dental Near Me. We got Aspen Dental as a sponsor listing at the top. The rest all came up as just organic results. All of these closed. Prince Creek Dental Care has a really high listing here. So they have the first maps listing because it would be higher than Aspen Dental. They might just not run ads on the weekend. And if we open up over here, I just did Prince Creek Dental. So another example where it's like, does it really make sense to run ads, especially in my market where there's not that much competition? I mean, there's not a massive population and 50 different dentists here. So this is one of the examples where I'd say you really don't need to target your own brand name. Now, one of the examples where you probably should is, let's say I'm searching for a roofer near me. We get Monarch Roofing at the top. They're pretty much the leader by me. You see they have the top, well, they're sponsored, but usually their business profile ranks really well. Big Bear Roofing, Linta Roofing, and then we have some of these listings here. If we scroll down, Monarch Roofing, basically one of the top ones in the market. So let's just say I search for Monarch Roofing. Now, what did come up on the right-hand side was their business profile, but Google's also listing two advertisements, one massive advertisement. What happens a lot of times with this is for a company like this, people accidentally click through here, or on a mobile phone, they'll just call the business directly. But the biggest takeaway from this is Monarch Roofing, for how valuable a roofing job is, I don't want to lose roofing jobs out to my competitors. I don't want Roofing Pups or Linta Roofing or anybody else potentially taking a job from me. So I'm happy to say I'm going to bid on my own brand name. Roofing is a very competitive market, but there's also going to be local service ads for roofing. So if somebody's searching for Monarch Roofing, I also know this is a company that runs billboards. They have trucks all over the road because I see them all the time with a full wrap on it. So they do a lot of different advertising outside of just your direct pay-per-click advertising to drive conversions. They definitely do branding awareness, and they're just one of the biggest companies in the market. So when people are searching for them, I do think it's worth spending money on these leads and making sure that you're getting them into your campaign, make sure you're getting them into your account. And then your other campaigns, I think, are going to perform better just from the results that I've seen. So now, how do we go about setting up a good branded search campaign? We're going to use our Monarch Roofing example, and we're going to create a new campaign, and we are going to be trying to drive leads. You want to make sure, obviously, you have your conversions tracking, phone calls, quote requests, any type of thing that you are tracking on your website that would be a lead where people are actually submitting information for you and requesting a service. So we have our conversion goals, search campaign. Now, while I'm here, one thing to keep in mind about a Performance Max campaign is if you run a Performance Max campaign for a brand like Monarch Roofing, what Google is going to do a lot of times is go after that brand keyword. This is where Performance Max can perform decent at times, although I always just find it ends up on the lead generation side just driving a little bit too much junk. But it is something where if you are looking to run an additional campaign, if you're like, I want a really aggressive strategy, the one benefit of Performance Max is the campaign does run all across Google Ads. So you can see, like, if I could see how it works, you could see you're kind of all over the place: video, display, shopping, search, demand gen. So basically everywhere that you can run ads, discover that your ads are going to run there. So Performance Max can also be used as almost a brand campaign. And what I've done in the past with some clients is we just run Performance Max for at, $15, $20 a day, maybe a little bit higher, but we treat it like a branded campaign. So we know, okay, it's going to help amplify the Google map listing as a sponsored ad. It's going to make sure that when people are searching for our brand, that campaign will go after it a little bit more aggressively. And ultimately, if you have like a maximized conversion set, you're getting good conversion data in, then Performance Max can be a decent campaign. The biggest thing is what works better with Performance Max is like a qualified conversion. So if you have conversions where it's like, okay, this person can just do a click to call, sometimes you're going to get clicks, you're going to get really low quality calls. Google thinks it's a conversion. It's not. It's not somebody calling you. It's not something you actually want to target. So that's where Performance Max can kind of go off the rails. So I didn't want to make this video about Performance Max, but this could be a potential. If you are trying to target some of your brand keywords, make sure you don't add your brand as an exclusion or as an account level negative keyword. I think eventually negative keywords are coming to Performance Max campaigns. I haven't seen them yet for the majority of my clients. But what we want to do here is create a search campaign. And what I would highly recommend avoiding doing is basically we're going to copy this. Okay, so we have website visits, we have Monarch Roofing. What you want to avoid doing is mixing and matching your brand campaign with your standard keyword targeting campaign. So let's just say, and I say standard keyword targeting, like brand and non-brand campaigns should be separated. The bid strategies should be separated. For a branded campaign, you're going to drive conversions at a much lower cost because people are actively searching for you. They are ready to convert. Your conversion rate's going to be very high. You're going to get a lot of conversions from it, especially if your brand is well known. And if you're targeting different keywords, your conversion rate, your cost per conversion is going to be much higher. And it should be, because if you're spending for a brand new roofing client, you may say, okay, every brand new roofing client is costing us, from the actual clicks on the ads to a new client who we've sold to, let's just say it's costing us $300, $350, which is pretty kind of normal for a roofing business. You might be able to get it lower. It might be higher in some markets, but roofing clicks on Google Ads are very expensive. Roofing jobs are also very valuable. So you might say, okay, we're spending $300 on Google Ads for every single roofing client that comes into the door. And basically every single time that we have a client, it's worth $1,000 in profit to our business. It's worth the X amount in profit to our business. And that's the way that you go about saying, okay, we can scale budget up, or we should potentially bring our budget down until we can see more profitability. Okay, so hopefully that all makes sense. But website visits, we'll use our home page. We will click on continue. And usually I'll do like branded campaign. Okay, bidding strategies. So I will show you after the video the bidding strategy that you would like to get to. And this is really what I recommend for branded campaigns. What you can do is start by focusing on conversions. For a roofing company, there is the potential where you have some very, very expensive clicks in the beginning. So what you could potentially do is just say, let's just focus on clicks to start. We're going to do a maximum cost per click bid limit, and I don't want to bid more than $5 on my own brand name. I don't want to bid more than $7 on my own brand name. Now, if you're not in roofing and you're in something else where you know the max cost per click bid limit's going to be much lower, you could potentially put this down to $3, $2, something very small. For a roofing campaign, I would say $5. There's a potential that Google just doesn't show our ads because they're like trying to get more expensive clicks, but our quality score for the keywords Monarch Roofing should be 10 out of 10. So we have our max CPC bid limit, customer acquisition, adjust your bidding to help you gain new customers. No, in this case, no search partners, no display network. Never. Just don't target them. Okay, none of my ads are running. I know. Location. So there's different ways to approach this. I would probably just say, let's go presence. Let's enter a location. In this case, I think we'll just say Myrtle Beach. And we will say, I don't know how far they target. We do Horry County would probably be what they target. They probably do Horry County and Georgetown County. So I would target the two counties wherever you actually serve. So Georgetown County, it's where I live. Okay, so we have our total reach, plenty of people to reach. If we look at our advanced search, yeah, so this is probably what their market looks like, I would guess. I don't know how far out they go. But we have our location set. This is how you should do it. Enter another location, presence, remove these networks, and now we are good to go. English, audience segments. We could do, see if there's a roofing. Won't make a huge difference. Roofing services, observation, off for keyword match types. We need to use conversion bidding strategy anyway. Automatically created assets off, ad rotation, ad schedules. Okay, so this is good. Next. And you could use the brand list for a branded campaign. I generally just don't. So we're just going to keep, so they have ad groups now. No, we just want Monarch Roofing. Okay, so we will click on generate. I don't really feel like writing all of the ad copy anyway. All right, we're just going to create the ad group manually. I'll just do it the old fashioned way. Okay, we're going to skip. My goodness. All right, so now we have our ad group here. I don't know what this is doing. Okay, there we go. Now, all you want to target, so our campaign, Monarch Roofing, ad group, Monarch Roofing, or branded campaign, sending traffic to this page. All I generally do is just do exact match keyword, Monarch Roofing. You could potentially do like Roof Company, Monarch Roofing Company. We could probably just do Monarch Roof. So usually what I try to do is, how are people going to search for just my brand name for exactly, what they're looking for? This is a good way to do it. Just use the exact match keywords for the brand name. You can potentially just start doing things like Monarch Roof Replacement, things where you want to always include Monarch in every single one of the search terms. So we have our Monarch Roofing ad group, our keyword set, we have our ads. Hopefully so they did do, now a lot of times, again, branded campaign, I will make sure that we put Monarch Roofing, and when we pin that headline, everything else can be perfectly fine. Like everything else can go wherever. Probably this is a bad headline. Top quality roofing. All right, okay, so these aren't terrible, I guess. All right, we'll leave that as is. Add your images, set your business name, not that. Set your business logo, create your site links. Looks like they created some for us, which is nice. Set your call outs. You could set your structured snippets, so you could put the different roofing services or roofing types that you offer. So metal roofs, shingle roofs, any other roof there is. Pricing, probably not. Promotion, potentially. Lead form, no. Apps, no. Save. And next. Okay, set your daily budget. I'd probably go $10 to $15 for a roofing campaign. Let's just say 15. Next. I really can't stand Google Ads sometimes. All right, about 15 minutes later, which is just ridiculous for Google Ads, but our campaign is ready to publish. They made me enter the keywords again. I don't know why. So let's publish this campaign. I honestly don't like all of the AI generation as far as the campaign building process. I think it's helpful sometimes, but it's just, I think they're trying to make it easier, but it just kind of makes it more convoluted, especially when I'm trying to just build and publish a campaign. Okay, so we have our campaign set up now, set up with a Google tag. They're probably checking monarchroofing.biz for a Google tag. Google's going to be very confused by my campaign. It's another thing that's frustrating is I can't just skip this setup with a Google tag. I'll do this later. Thank you. Don't make me do all this. Continue to my account, set up it later. I get you're trying to help. I don't need it. Okay, so campaign, branded campaign. Now, the biggest thing that I would say is just watch your budget, watch your cost per click. You should not be spending, always watch your average cost per click for a branded campaign, because this should be very low. It should be like $1 or $2, like very, very low clicks for people with Monarch Roofing, because we are, well, not really, but if I was working with Monarch Roofing, then that would be the brand that, should get the best clicks for that keyword. People are actively looking for us. It's kind of always the way Google Ads has worked, is that branded keywords, you either have to bid a lot for them if you're not your brand, or you bid nothing for them if they are your brand. So maximize clicks is sometimes what I'll start with. Now, there's a few different options as far as bidding strategies here. You could potentially, especially if you have a lower budget like this, you could potentially just go straight into maximize conversions. So just say, okay, let's just go max conversions for our branded campaign. You may have some expensive clicks in the beginning, but over time, that cost per click should start to really go lower, and maximize conversion could potentially work really well with this. You could potentially target impression share. This is one of those things that people have asked me, like, should I use target impression share for my brand? I say no, because I just think you're going to end up spending more. It's not going after actual conversions or clicks. It's just going after impressions. So there's nothing wrong with saying, hey, I want a 90% impression share, the top of the results page when people are searching for Monarch Roofing. But it's also one of those things where I say, I want conversions. If you don't need to show my ad, you don't have to show my ad. If you think it'll help me drive more conversions, then show my ad for my branded keyword. So I kind of go back and forth with this. Once you do get a lot of data into your campaign, let's just say, for example, over the course of a month, we have 20 conversions in here for a cost per conversion of, I don't know, $20, let's just say, on average, and we've driven a decent amount of clicks. Our cost per click is, let's say, $3, for example. So $3 cost per click, $20 cost per conversion. What I would do in this case is I would say, let's go to our budgets and bidding, our bid strategies, and we're going to create a portfolio branded bidding strategy. So we're going to make sure well, Surfside Inbound, I guess, owns it. Select our campaign here. So we would select the campaign from the list, set a target CPA right around $20, maybe potentially less or maybe potentially more. Maximum bid limit, if it's around $4 or $3, we'll set this to $4. Say don't bid more than $4. Try to drive us conversions at $20 or less, and we'll go from there with our branded campaign. So the ultimate goal is not to overspend on it. It's to bring in additional conversions, get more conversion data in, and just make sure that if people are actively searching for your brand, like in this case, that our ad is appearing here too at the top, so we don't start losing clicks, jobs to Roofing Pups or anybody else. I don't necessarily think that happens all that often. And if you said to me, I'm not going to run branded campaigns, I'm not going to argue with you. If you said to me, I must run branded campaigns, I'm not going to argue with you either. So I don't think there's one right answer for how to do this. And I do think it's partially budget dependent. If somebody gives me a massive budget and just says, hey, I want to spend 10 grand a month on roofing, and I want to make sure that we're getting everything possible in that we can. This is one way to go about it, but ultimately I don't try to I definitely separate branded and non-branded campaigns. I would have a completely separate Monarch Roofing, search campaign that goes after roofing installations, roofing replacement, roofing repairs potentially. Roofing repairs might even be in its own campaign because it could probably drive leads at a lower cost, and those leads aren't usually as valuable as a full-on replacement, people searching for contractors, people searching for a full installation, commercial jobs. So some of those things are worth separating into different campaigns, mainly because by the end of the month, cost per conversion for a branded campaign may be $100. For a standard roofing campaign, it might be $150. It might be $200. It's not going to be cheap for roofing because the clicks are really expensive, and Google is very difficult on the roofing front and definitely a challenge. Because it's just gotten so expensive, and a lot of roofers are spending a lot of money on local service ads as well. So if you have any questions about any of this, please leave them in the comment section. I hope this kind of answers a lot of roofing questions. I really wanted to do this, not roofing questions, branded campaign questions. I really wanted to do this video because it's one of those things I get a lot of questions about. But again, there's not one right answer for it. I kind of recommend creating branded campaigns, but if you were to kind of show me something like this where you're like, why would I create a branded campaign? It's kind of one of those things like, yeah, I really have no argument, truthfully, because then you're just paying for clicks that you're going to otherwise get. I do think the one benefit that people don't always realize is that you do get more conversion data into your Google Ads account. So it could be something you start with and then eventually just say, okay, let's just remove brand altogether and start going after our, standard conversion driving keywords. So thank you for watching my video today, and make sure you subscribe to the Surfside PPC YouTube channel. I want to take a quick break from the video to promote my ads and marketing community. So if you want to join a community of other marketers, other advertisers, and find ways to actually grow your business with advertising and marketing, go to surfsideppc.com/community or go to school.com/surfsideppc. You could join my ads community, talk with other like-minded individuals, answer questions, ask questions, and hopefully we can build the best marketing community on the internet. So let's get back to the video.